In this God of War theory video, I will be discussing how Atreus will save Kratos from death in God of War Ragnarok. So these are the channels who follow my instructions to get featured in this video. If you would like your channel mentioned in my very next video, stay to the very last second of this video to find out how. And before I begin, I apologize for my awful pronunciations. Alright, here we go. So let's talk about Kratos and how I think he's going to die. Okay, whoa, settle down. It's not forever. Alright, so let's take a second, breathe, and then shove an axe to Magni's face. Doesn't that make you feel better? Now, Kratos has died or ended up in the Greek or Norse afterlife in pretty much every single game. For all you haters who cannot comprehend Kratos dying, it has happened a ton of times so far, so get over it. Yes, we have the whole Kratos is immortal thing, but none of that has been confirmed how or why by Sony Santa Monica, and even Cory Barlog with an interview with John Ford did not even confirm it, so there you go. Okay, so like I said before, Kratos has died in several games so far, and it doesn't mean that it won't happen again. So why do I think Kratos will die? Do I hate him? I mean, I probably wouldn't have a God of War channel if I did. The reason why I think Kratos will die in God of War Ragnarok is this picture right here on the Jotunheim wall mural. So with this picture right here, there are many theories going on around YouTube and around the God of War community of what it might mean and who this actually is in the picture. But Sony and Sony Santa Monica have not confirmed anything as of yet, so it's pretty much anyone's guess. One theory that is very popular that's going around right now is that Tyr is the guy in the Jotunheim wall mural. So this does make a lot of sense that this is Tyr in the Jotunheim wall mural, because it does seem like he is missing a hand, which is his defining feature in Norse mythology. Tyr being one of the only Aesir gods, if not the only Aesir god, that has a good reputation behind him and actually fights for the betterment of the races of the realms. So knowing this growing up, Atreus probably looks up to Tyr being one of the good gods that are out there and probably think there are more as well. Well, Kratos really doesn't think this, but he has a little history with gods and stuff. So after we release Tyr from his chains and wherever it might be, Svartalfheim, Asgard, wherever it might be, Atreus might even look up further to Tyr. And yes, we will release him, especially since we did see Kratos and Atreus finding Tyr all chained up in the God of War Ragnarok trailer. So this image might very well be Tyr. Another pretty popular theory that's going around right now is that the person in the Jotunheim wall mural is Mimir. Yes, it is a very crazy theory, but I like it and I love crazy theories. But how can this be Mimir if he doesn't have a body? So after Kratos and Atreus are finally able to spread Faye's ashes in the tallest peak in all the realms in her home world of Jotunheim, right after we fight Baldur and get a big tongue lashing from Freya, giggity? Giggity. Mimir tells us when we return, because we did leave him outside of the realm, that Brock and Sindri looked him over. Well, he really doesn't have to look far, he's just a head. Took some measurements and then basically just tossed him aside after they started arguing about something or another. So, what were the measurements for? So many people have theorized that Brock and Sindri took measurements of Mimir to make him a new body. So this very well could be Mimir on the Jotunheim wall mural. Yeah, I buy it, but here's something brand new that probably no one's thought of. Well, it probably has, but sounds good, right? So the person who is in the Jotunheim wall mural could be Kratos and Atreus over his dead body. But how will God of War be God of War without Kratos? Well, in this theory, I'm glad to say we won't have to worry about that for long. So back in September, at least I believe it was, which I could be completely wrong, but it won't be the first or last time, that the cast of God of War Ragnarok was released to the public. So if we go to IMDb, we can actually see a full cast list for God of War Ragnarok, which is completely awesome because we can see the awesome talent working on God of War Ragnarok. But there's something even more important that I noticed. The thing that is slightly more important, at least to me, is we can see future characters of God of War Ragnarok. So one of the characters, or group of characters, that we see in IMDb in the cast list of God of War Ragnarok is the Norns. The Norns are named Skald, played by Shelby Young, Erd, voiced by Kate Miller, and the other Norn at this time is actually unknown, But if we look further in Norse mythology, we can safely assume that it will be Verthandi. And yes, there are 3 of them. Or are there? But why does this matter? It will all make sense very soon, so stay tuned in. But who are the Norns? So in Norse mythology, the Norns are 3 women who control the fates of everyone in the Norse realm. And I mean literally everyone, even the gods, because even the gods are subject to fate. So to put it very plainly, they are the Sisters of Fate in the Norse realm. In the poem Fafnismal, which can be found in the Codex Regius manuscript, there are a ton of Norns because each race actually has representation there. Even the dwarves, the gods, the humans, the elves, you name it. Kind of like an elected official for each race. But in Völuspá, which is probably the best known poem in the Poetic Edda, it tells a little bit of a different story and makes a little more sense when we're talking about God of War Ragnarok. So in Völuspá, the writer talks about how the world was made and talks about the Norns. So the poem talks about the 3 Norns, Udur, Verthandi, and Skuld, past, present, and future respectively. They live under the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil and live in a hall next to a very famous well called Udurbrunner, which in English means the Well of Fate. Ooh. There they have been said to carve symbols, which we can safely assume that they are runes, and weaving, which we can assume are weaving the fates of everyone in the Norse realm. But what does this have to do with God of War Ragnarok? What does this have to do with Kratos being dead? And what does this have to do with Atreus bringing back Kratos from the dead? Well, it goes a little something like this. So on the Jotunheim wall mural, this is Kratos dead and Atreus holding him in remorse. Whether Atreus had anything to do with it may come later on. How did this man, this god, who has destroyed basically an entire pantheon of gods back in Greece, die? Video right here if you want to know. But the better question right now is, how is he coming back from the dead? So I believe Atreus, with the help from Tyr, Mimir, Angerboda, or whoever is around at the moment, will go and seek out the Norns. So how will Atreus find the Norns since they live underneath the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree? Well, I can think of at least 1 or 2 ways. One idea is that we can go to Helheim, which Helheim is actually located underneath Yggdrasil, so it would be just under the roots. But where in Helheim? Exactly where Mimir tells us never to go, where the giant eagle sits. So this very well might be where the Norns are basically hanging out around the Well of Fate, as well as many other horrors that actually stalk around Helheim. I personally really like this idea, especially since we might see even more badass monsters to fight down in Helheim. But I have another way Atreus might find the Norns. So another way I think Atreus might find the Norns is literally going through Yggdrasil, the world tree. So we have used Yggdrasil many times during our playthroughs of God of War 2018, and even jumped off the side of it to find the Jotunheim Realm Tower in the realm between realms. But my question is, what is lower than where we found the tower? I think it's possible to find the Norns all the way at the bottom of Yggdrasil, even further than we jumped in God of War 2018. I mean, why not? Let's jump down there and find out. But how is Atreus going to bring Kratos back to life after he finds the Norns? Well, I also have a couple of theories on that, and the last one is my favorite. Stay tuned in. So when Atreus finds the Norns, he obviously needs to bring his father Kratos back to life. So one way to do this is make a bargain or a deal with them. Possibly run an errand, like kill gods or something. You know, nothing that difficult. Maybe even find like a really strong relic or item or something like that that they want. It is possible. But this is God of War, and we need more action than that. So my next idea to bring Kratos back to life is to kill the Norns. Okay, you can say this is kind of a cop-out, and it's kind of way too similar to God of War 2, where Kratos goes back and kills the Sisters of Fate, but this is my video, and I like it. But this time, it's our boy kicking ass and taking names. Another reason why I really like this theory is what is coming out of Atreus' mouth on the Jotunheim wall mural. Coming out of his mouth in a sweeping motion are runes. This could be telling us how Atreus is bringing Kratos back to life. Is this for sure gonna happen? Probably not, but it would be a pretty cool way to bring everything together. I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me today. It really does mean a lot. And if you did like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video out so others can view this and like it as well. Now, how can you get your YouTube channel name featured in my very next video. Leave the hashtag static in the comments down below. I mean, it's as simple as that. Leave the hashtag static in the comment. If your comment does not have the hashtag static on it, your YouTube channel will not make an appearance in my next video. All entries have to be submitted by the time I'm editing my next video, so tick tock.